electronic music versus band music, instrumental music, physical music as we call it. We're taking electronic, they're taking band music, instrumental music. To start, we feel that electronic music has a very good series of reasons that make it not only a relevant form of music, but also a necessary means of developing the idea of music in the modern world.
Yeah, to add something to that, electronic music is taking over the world of entertainment. A maximum of people right now prefer electronic music to instrumental music, like that music forms. We have DJs taking over the nightclubs and award shows. Even some drummers use the support of electronic music. So.
Okay. Back over to you guys.
All right, so our side is the physical part of music, so band, instruments, instrumentals. So when we're talking about like which one is superior, for our argument, we'd like to say that band music is better music, better quality. It shows instrumental talent, and we'd like to demonstrate our point to you guys why we feel that way and why we think that it's just superior, I guess.
To add on to that point about it being superior, not superior to say, but just a better entertainment and why it's been around much longer than electronic music has, and why it's almost favored over most genres. But like electronic music definitely has its place. It's just the entertainment fact of the concert.
That's it.
Okay. Back to you guys for your 4 points.
Back to us?
Okay, like some certain famous artists wouldn't exist without electronic music. Like artists like Avicii, Radiohead, Daft Punk, and even Lady Gaga. They all use electronic music to support their performances and sell out albums and covers. I've never heard or seen like live playing instruments artists like sell more records than Lady Gaga, which in the past few years. And setup times for another point is setup times for instrumental band music takes a lot of time to set up. Where you can call a DJ and they can just set up in like 30 minutes. And while like it takes a band is like almost like 2 hours just to set up. And
for our third point, you said that instrumental music has better quality and more entertaining. You can't deny the impact that electronic music has had in saying that. Electronic music can be considered live on more mediums than instrumental music, and as Justin said, instruments are limited in venue. In fact, Hypebot.com did a study. 53% of electronic music fans would pay to see their favorite artist perform an online streaming concert. Only 19% for other music fans would do so, and that plays into the fact that electronic music is more accessible and can be streamed and enjoyed on so many more mediums than electronic music. For our fourth point, it's aimed at the logic of the question in general. Nowadays, there isn't really a divide between electronic and instrumental, really, because electronic, it's used to support instrumental, especially on live sets. In fact, Neil Peart, who we talked about during the recent presentation, uses electronic drums in his set. In fact, he said in a quote with a Radio.com interview, a combination of them is what gives me the dynamism of acoustic drums and then the virtual orchestra of sounds that electronic drums can offer. Another point is that it's obviously used to back up guitars specifically. In fact, I believe that you showed us something called the Boss NE80 multi-effects guitar pedal that you use to electronically alter the sound of your guitar in front of everyone. And that's
Well done. Okay, next. Back to you guys.
All right, so first point I'd like to bring up is electronic music is often seen as disposable. People listen to it for a short period of time, and then it's gone. I mean, like, nobody listens to the Black Eyed Peas anymore. Maybe some people do, but they're under rocks and in the corner and gone. Whereas you take bands like Rolling Stones, they're still touring 52 years later, selling out arenas. Also, another point I'd like to make is that if you want to look at what music has better quality, I'd definitely go with the more instrumental music. If you look at the Grammys for the past 5 years, the only electronic artist to get Best Engineered Album was Daft Punk, and that was for Random Access Memories, which actually was the biggest instrumental influence in any of their albums. You take other people who have gotten Best Engineered, you get this most recent David Bowie, before that Alabama Shakes, Beck, John Mayer, and those are mostly, majorly lenient on the instrumental factor of their music.
I would like to add that studies have shown that live instrumental music such as rock, metal, and classical helps the brain more than electronical such as rap, pop, and EDM. I forgot to write down where I found this information, but you know, it's there. You can go on Google. It's
How do we know you didn't just make it up?
No, it's from facts.com. And Metallica is a band that's been around for just about 40 years now, as a good reference. They sell out shows in other countries that their songs don't even incorporate any of their first language, and they sell out not even arenas, it's areas, it's 100,000 people, farther than the eye can see. And about another point is, it's not more to say the electronics the guitar is using, but it's the sound generated that can just be generated from electronics that is going, that is limited, that is, what do you call it, disposable. What his pedal basically does is take the live instrument and just make it sound a little different. But it's still live playing, it's still him playing every single chord, every single note. And with being a DJ, to see the guy stand behind his laptop or behind buttons and push a couple buttons, and or watch some girl dance and sing. It may be fun if you're a fan, but it's much more enjoyable to watch some guy rock out with a guitar and guitar solo, drum solo, all that good stuff. And that's our 4 points, right?
Yeah.
Great. 1 minute break.
Well, you guys brought up the idea of the Rolling Stones and Metallica selling out shows. Obviously that's the case. There's no denying the fact that instrumental music has been around longer. And it's almost unfair that you guys use that as a point, that they still sell out shows around the world, when obviously electronic music doesn't have the same nostalgia factor or the same widespread influence as it does on the world, considering the fact that instrumental music has been around for so many years. And this is almost a newcomer to the scene. You can't really say that because you see, like electronic shows, clubs, full house, everywhere. It's just not on the same large scale that instrumental music has sort of acquired over the years. And another point, you compared a guitarist as being different than a DJ, but if they're both electronic, what's the DJ pushing buttons making sounds different than strumming? It's just a different motion. It still comes out electronic. It's an electric guitar. And so.
Well, here's the difference. I can pick up my iPad and just start hitting buttons and make things sound good. Okay? here's guitar, you take years of dedication, and you have to study it. You start from one bar of a song, it's super simple, you know, hot cross buns, and then you have to take years and years of dedication, and it shows extreme talent and intellectual increase. You also made the point that Avicii wouldn't exist. Avicii, I'm sorry to say, is in it for the money. If you retire at 27 years old just because you have all the money, you're not in it for the music, you're in it for the money. And also you said you haven't seen anyone sell as many albums as, what was it, Lady Gaga was your reference, I think? The Beatles have sold way more. Beatles have sold over 600 million albums. I guess what you're looking at the time factor, right? There's more time they've had, but if you go by the rate, the Beatles has a higher rate. And additionally to the point, we said Black Eyed Peas, a huge electronic artist of their time, have died already, but they've had their time and they've already died. But they're still, their basis is instrumental. They didn't develop it on computers, they developed it with their instrumental talent.
So like let's say Little Big is doing like some kind of a show, and they are bringing Travis Barker, like the drummer you talked about. Yeah, and that one, I think a majority of people in the industry would like to go see that one. And the drummer.
But that's because of the time that it's now. It's just what people like. Just because people like it doesn't mean it's necessarily good.
Yeah, we are going for what people like.
People like Justin Bieber, I mean, like, he doesn't express that much talent either. So.
Yeah, it's not about, like, these days it's not about talent, just good for people, like, people that's gonna make money and sell out shows.
If these days it's not about talent, and these days electronic is on top, then you're basically saying electronic has no talent.
No, electronic has talent, I'm just saying I wouldn't wanna, like, express my talent and show my talents and I'm broke. I mean, it doesn't make sense, like, talents make money.
Another point, electronic is more expensive. You can buy a $100 guitar. You cannot buy a $100 synthesizer. Synthesizers, like, base price are like $600.
Yeah.
The Korg Mini Log is $600. I can buy like my first guitar was a knockoff of the Stratocaster, and that's where I learned how to play music from. Whereas,
You literally just said that you could take everything and play sounds on that. Why can't you just
iPads.
make the music with that?
this iPad costs $550.
Because it's not
Still
the same experience as writing it with a guitar.
Also, iPads are delayed. They don't have the
It's
same
just-
response time.
It's not the same. Like I guess you'd have to be a musician, and that's why we took the art side. But it's just not the same.
You said, Baden, that you bought $100 guitar.
Too bad.
Save me, I was standing.
Great open debate, guys. Excellent. You have a minute to prepare for your.
So as I was saying, you said you got a $100 guitar as your first guitar, knockoff Stratocaster. Funnily enough, I actually do have a guitar which happens to be $100 and is a knockoff Stratocaster. And you said earlier that it takes so much talent to play guitar. I played guitar for a few years myself, but I could play as probably the same amount, if not, like just up to par as a person who's relatively new. It takes so much talent to it, then how come you're using that as a point when it's clear that guitar, with how easily it is to be taught nowadays, is that, you know, so much superior to electronic music. And also in general, as our closing, we think that you guys used a lot of bias to instrumental music in your opinion, based what I feel, we feel, is on the nostalgic factor we talked about. From our standpoint, we didn't look at it biased as we, electronic, are the newcomers to the scene. So it's almost as if you guys were looking down on electronic music throughout your arguments, whereas we were looking up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it up there now, or
I mean, if you want.
are you guys done closing? Alright, so you want to say that tech is new to the scene. It actually came about in the 70s with the disco era, which was versus against rock and roll is still there, but disco has died along with all the other ones like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Black Eyed Peas. And you say you can play the guitar because you have this cheap thing, but can you play the guitar well? There's a difference between being able to play, Smoke on the Water, which everyone can play, and let's say Eddie Van Halen's Eruption, which only he can play. There's a difference between playing well and just playing. Like anyone can pick up. Oh, this is a G chord. So there's a difference between playing it well and memorization and knowing where the notes go at proper times, where to have. Yeah.
Instrumental rock and roll is better because it has outlasted all the other genres. That's our closing statement.
Great debate, guys.